So, hey guys, Monday was March 1st, was National Wheelchair Day. And I want to uh, say some things about my wheelchair and the crazy things that I've done in my wheelchair. So, as you guys know, I have cerebral palsy. So, I've been in a wheelchair ever since I was 3. And but I don't let my wheelchair stop me from doing anything. For an example, I when I was growing up, I would pull my sisters and brothers on the back of my chair with their rollerblades on. We would tie a rope on the back of my wheelchair and I would pull them around the cul-de-sac. And I would also, in the winter, and you guys, would not pull my siblings in sleds for free. When I was little, I would charge them money. So I would give them rides around the cul-de-sac, but each time uh, they wanted to ride, they would have to pay me $1. So I had a lot of fun doing that. And I also really enjoyed, like, when my youngest brother was little, he could sit on the back of um, my handlebars and I would give him a ride. He would like stand or sit and he thought that was like the coolest thing ever. So and yeah, and my friends and I when uh I was growing up, we would like decorate my chair for like the holidays, for like homecoming and junior high dances. We would do a lot of things, um, and I also, some of you may or may not know, I've done power soccer. I started doing power soccer when I was in junior high, and I played throughout high school, and then I quit because I just got too busy with work and practices and stuff were like at different times and all that stuff. But I do miss like doing like tournaments and all that stuff. We How we would play power soccer is we would use our electric wheelchairs, and they had what was called a guard on our wheelchair, and it was basically this huge metal rectangle box that would hook on our wheelchair, and the ball was huge, so we could like kick the ball all around, and we would play on um, a basketball court, and we would have positions like we would have goalie, um, left, right, and center, and we would play people from different areas like Fishers and Martinsville and like people out of town. And now this is really embarrassing, and I'm sorry to say this, guys, but um, when I played soccer, first of all, I wasn't very good. Second of all, I may or may have not scored it in the wrong goal a couple times. But hey, at least I scored a goal, but maybe it was for the wrong team. But that's okay. You just like roll with the punches in life. Come on, guys. and it's great. But yeah, um, as you might know, I was also involved in Taekwondo for 2 or 3 years, and I would break boards and I would do all the karate positions or whatever. It was really cool, and I I did karate through my organization, Rainbow's End, that I started when I was in the 4th grade, and yeah, so I I don't let my wheelchair define my personality. Like and I'll be honest with you, when I went to school growing up, it just became like invisible to me. Like I didn't even know it was there. And that's the way I feel about when I'm at work. Like I'm so like engrossed with like the kids and focused on them that I just completely forget about the chair and just like focus on the kids. It's like it doesn't matter anymore. It's like a awesome experience, but and it's amazing at the same time because you're so focused on the activities and the my students' homework and all the kind of all the kinds of things that happen at work. You're just so um, focused on what's happening. So, and I even forget about my disability, to be honest. Um, and I forget about my disability when I'm doing like daily things. I don't even like focus on that. And being in a wheelchair, I feel like has made me a better person. I feel like I was meant to have a disability to make an impact on adults and children and kids. Like I said in previous videos, my love for working with kids started when I was in 1st grade because I was involved in this program called Everybody Counts, and I would literally go. I went to Woodbrook and Prairie Trace growing up in elementary school. So when I was in kindergarten through 1st and 2nd, I would do Everybody Counts there, and I would go literally around to every classroom and like share my story with the students, and I would answer questions. So that's where my love for kids started out, like helping kids, teaching them, kind of being a role model towards them. I think just because you're in a wheelchair, you're no different than anyone else. You may have some limitations, but seriously, when I don't even honestly think about my limitations, I just do the best that I can do. And if I need extra help with something, I'm not afraid to ask or, um, ask for help, or I'm not afraid to talk to people. So, and in honor of uh, National Wheelchair Day, that was on March 1st, I also was, this has nothing to do with my wheelchair, but when I was growing up, I was like 5, and I swam on a neighborhood swim team. And I did that until I was about like 14. And then I graduated that. But what was cool about our swim team was Dave Claro did a story on my swim team and myself and my family and my best friend Laura. And you guys have to know Laura talks a lot like I do, so that's why we're best friends. So, and I was very very nervous when Dave Clevero interviewed me because there was all sorts of like cameras around me and all that stuff, and I was like, I didn't know what to say, and he was like, "Do you think you're cute?" And I was like, a little fifth grader, I was like, "Yeah." But yeah, I really enjoyed doing that news story for our swim team. It was aired on the 4th of July. Yeah, so that was a really cool experience. And I also, throughout my organization, Rainbow's End, I would do benefit concerts to help raise money for any equipment Rainbow's End would need for like Taekwondo or our swim team, the Aqua Champs, stuff like that. So all that money would go to our organization. And how I would do these benefit concerts is I had a really good friend in junior high and high school. His name was Colin, and he had a band. So I would, every summer, Colin and his band, starting in high school, they would do a benefit concert for Rainbow's End, and everybody would bring their lawn chairs and their coolers of snacks and cokes and drinks, and my grandma's neighbor would set off fireworks for the benefit concert. But I always loved doing the benefit concerts for Rainbow's End. Number one, I could talk more in depth about our organization, and I will kind of get into that in this video. Rainbow's End was a organization that my physical therapist and myself developed for people with physical disabilities. We offered a swim team, a taekwondo team. We had a ballet team for little girls. They had adapted baseball, and they had 2 swim teams. They had one on the north side of town and one on the south side of town. But yeah, Rainbow's End is a very special organization, very near and dear to my heart, because not only did I start it, this organization, but I started it with a person that is very special to me, and she is my physical therapist. I've known her since I was like 4 years old, and she is the one that helped me develop Rainbow's End. And Rainbow's End stands for enabled, not disabled. So, and I am in honor of National Wheelchair Day. I'm going to tell a couple stories about my wheelchair. I there was one, and this story might be on my wheelchair, on my, not on my wheelchair, sorry, on my channel. When we first moved here, my mom wanted me to get familiar with the neighborhood, so she wanted me to, like, drive around the neighborhood. And anyways, it was like a hot day, so the sun was shining, and anyways, I was driving on the sidewalk, and I got stuck in the sprinkler. So, like, the sprinkler is, like, pelting me in the face, and my wheelchair is, like, all wet, and long story short, it, like, dies. So, I'm, like, screaming for help, and this neighbor, like, helps me get out and all this. But, and she, like, walks me home and stuff. And, yeah, so it was pretty funny. But it wasn't fun at the time. And, a lot of, I would also, growing up, I would, like, we would, my sisters and brothers would, sometimes when they were little, they would sit on my lap and they would want to drive my wheelchair, and I would let them drive. They were pretty good drivers, but it was really cool how they, like, adapted to my wheelchair and, like, adapted to my disability itself. And my family never, like, treated me any different. Having cerebral palsy has given me many gifts in life and many opportunities in life. Before COVID, I would do a lot of motivational speaking talks, and I've always enjoyed doing that. And ever since I was a kid, my wheelchair, I have to get a new wheelchair every, like, 4 or 5 years. So I've had, my first wheelchair was hot pink, and then my second wheelchair was, like, turquoise, and one was purple, I think, and then one was black with sparkles. One was, like, red, and I had a manual chair that was pink. And in high school, my friends, for homecoming, they would decorate my chair with, like, yellow and blue streamers, and we would wear, like, red or yellow and blue face paint for homecoming. So I've been on a lot of fun adventures with my wheelchair, and yeah, I just enjoy talking about my life in general. One of my friends, it's kind of funny. He, like, we went to junior high together, and he always thought, until we were in high school, he thought I was paralyzed. And he never knew that I had cerebral palsy. And I told him in, like, junior high that I had cerebral palsy, but he, like, didn't believe me. He thought I was, like, paralyzed. But that's okay. It's just, like, people just are curious about certain things, and that's why people love to ask questions, and I don't mind it at all. It's great. But I think I've said this in many of my videos. I work at an elementary school, and my students, they love to ask questions. So what I do, if my activity that I'm doing, whether I'm in the cafeteria, whether I'm in the gym, I position my wheelchair where I'm still watching the activity and watching the kids. But if we don't have that many kids, I like to call them like little conferences, and I pull the kids aside and they just sit at the table and just like ask me questions about my disability, like how my injury happened to me, and I explain the whole thing, and and it's just a fun way to open up about my story. Um, and I love talking to kids about my uh, journey with having a disability, because they're just curious, and that's totally fine. Um, yeah. So, and also, when I played power soccer in junior high and high school, during practices, our coaches would make us take the ball and go in and out of cones with our wheelchair. So it was really fun, but it was like you had to, at least for me, I had to really concentrate on what I was doing, because I just had like I had to have like zero distraction. But I did pretty well at it. I we had, like I said, we in soccer we had like different positions. I really do miss playing soccer, but it's really competitive. So I don't really miss the competitive part. I just like kicking around the ball and doing drills and whatnot. Yeah. So I'm trying to think what else. Um, and like wheelchairs are honestly very different in many ways. Like many wheelchairs go are very different. Some can like recline, tilt, stand up. Um, like technology is very advanced these days, and I that's awesome. And I really enjoy like telling kids in general, not just my students at work, but like how my wheelchair works and stuff like that. Now, my students do know that my wheelchair is for my only touch only. They cannot touch any buttons on my wheelchair. They know not to touch anything. They may look at it, but they can't touch anything, because my wheelchair is like my hands, or like my feet. And I and my wheelchair is my feet. And I never, as a kid growing up, I never got to feel like how it how it feels to like run and stuff like that. But in place of that, I just, especially in our cul-de-sac, I like to go really fast in the cul-de-sac and like drive really fast. So, and and that's what I did when I was growing up. I would pull the neighborhood kids around on the rollerblades, and we would go really fast, and I would, like I said, I would take them like snow skiing when it was cold outside, on sleds, and we'd have all kinds of fun. So yeah, and just to clarify this, and kids in general ask this question a lot. And they always ask me how much wheelchairs cost. And I'm like, they cost a bunch of money. And they're like, oh, really? Because I really want one. And I'm like, no, you're fine. You can walk and stuff. And they're like, Miss McGeehan, but I'm lazy. I wanna have a wheelchair. And I'm like, I would trade places with you in a heartbeat if I had the opportunity. But like, to be honest, like, I don't mind being in a wheelchair at all. I mean, that's all I've known my whole life, and I'm perfectly fine with it. And like I said, my wheelchair is my feet. So that's how I get around. I go places. Um, I play outside with my nieces. I go out with friends for dinner. I go on walks with my friends around the neighborhood. We just do a lot of things. So, yeah, and I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions about my disability or my wheelchair, let me know, and I would be more than happy to answer them. All right, have a fabulous day, and I will see you guys later. All right, bye.